So in this video, I'm going to run through the startup procedure of your JWEI JCut Cutter. So at the moment, everything is off. Now the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to check my emergency stops, give them a twist, make sure they're in the upright position. I'm also going to make sure that there's nothing obstructing the beam on the front of the table. So we've got another emergency stop on the podium, it's in the upright position. We got another one back here. And we've got another one here as well. So that's all good. Next thing I need to do is check my power supply. So that is my 3-phase, that's all on. And then back here we have our normal 13 amp. Now we've just got one, you may have more than that, that's very normal. So then I can go down to this side of the machine and we're going to first turn the actual power to the table on. So you're going to go down to here and go to put that into the on position and you'll see that the light comes on there. Now this sometimes may be covered over if the rail is further back, and you'll see this here will cover that, but you can still get to it by putting your hand through the energy chain. So then I need to check that my fez tool is on. That's in the manual position, which is great, it's good to go, and obviously make sure that's empty and ready to use. Then down this side, we have our chiller. That needs to just be turned on. So I'm going to press the on button. And there we go, that's going to start up. Now, our table is connected to the in-house air system. So I do not have a compressor down the side here. However, if you do have a compressor, it is important that we make sure that's on as well, because we need to have air while we're using the table. Then if I go back round to the front and to our podium, we now need to turn our computer on. So to turn the computer on, we use the button on the side. There's our power button, there's a reset button. Now if you try and turn it on using the power button on the computer, it will not work. It's only the power button on the side that turns on the machine. So now the computer's going to boot up. There we go. So now the computer is booted up. The next thing we need to do is we need to fire up JWCam. Now JWCam has to be open to utilise the machine, so without that being open, without the machine being reset, we can't do anything. So I'm going to go up to JWCam. That's going to then run. And there we go. So that's now ready to go. So you can see at the moment it's all greyed out on this side, and that's because I need to reset my table. So I'm going to click on reset. That's then going to start spinning the tools, lift them up and down, and it's going to bring the head into the 0 position. And this is just checking functionality and making sure it's positioned correctly. So that's now been reset. We know it has been because the arrow keys are available aboard, so if I click on them, we can move the head around. Once that's done, we're now ready to run our OptiScout software. So I'm going to minimize this and I'm going to ensure OptiScout's running. So the first thing I need to do is go down to the bottom here, and you'll see I've got this little icon in the corner here, and that's for our OptiScout server. That's got to be running before we start up OptiScout. So double click on OptiScout. That's now going to run Opti. So that's OptiScout running. So the very last thing that I need to do is go into my JWCam. I need to ensure that I've got the correct tools now loaded and that I've done my tool depth for all the tools in there. I've also got to make sure, if I go down to suction window, that my suction zones are correct, and then I'm ready to start cutting on my JWEI JCut Cutter. So that's the startup procedure on the JWEI JCut Cutter.